What's up, everybody? It's your favorite phone to friends, Prime's favorite nerd, and today we are looking at the Transform and Roll Out Commander of Stars. Not of the stars, just of stars, which I guess is fine. This is on loan to me from Caleb. Came by and dropped it to me in person, which I appreciate. And the reason why I say phone to friend, Prime's favorite nerd, is because I didn't know what this was, and I had to call somebody and find out. It's a Cybertron, I believe, if memory serves, is the answer that I was giving. Cybertron Prime. There you go. So we are going to take a look at this guy. However, we are going to do it slightly different than before, where we're going to look at some of the accessories, and then some of the accessories we're going to kind of tackle as we move through it, if that makes sense. All right? So with that being said, let's get started. So he comes with a bag full of fingers, all pinned, which is nice, you know, as opposed to tension. But, you know, whole bag full of them. And then gimmicks-wise, he comes with this thing, which is a take on, like, the key or something. It used to be, like, a gimmick thing for the original toy line. And what's funny about this, I didn't even realize it when I did my first impressions, but it has an Autobot symbol on there. But go, dude, go hard in the paint. You know what I mean? Make them do something. Call their bluff. Anyway, let me show you how this works. If you have batteries installed and you put it up against these guns here, they will light up. And there's in different sequences, like flashing or constant, etc. The batteries aren't in them. I did take a look at some of them, like that's where the batteries go, right in there. And then one on the other hand, I'm not gonna risk any. Let me see. It's right in here somewhere. I'm not gonna risk anything, but the batteries go in there, and then it lights up. And here you have it. Vehicle mode. Rolls like a champ. Rubber tires. Paint on the wheels looks great. Translucent plastic throughout, which is fine. There is some like sculpted detail in it, which is fair enough. Nice sculpted detail in the wings and such, like the little bolts and so on and so forth. I dig that kind of stuff. Vents and such up there. The white paint looks good. Silver paint looks good. Orange paint on the headlights looks atrocious. They shouldn't have bothered. And the silver paint on the grill looks good. It's got some weight to it. It's got some mass to it. Rolls like a champ. I think I said that already. You know, let's cover, I guess, some of the weapons. You can rotate there at a ratchet joint. It'll also go left and right on a soft ratchet. And this will also hinge. I'll back out a little bit so you can get it down. And I thought that this was funny, right? Let me see here. You know what I mean? I don't know why I found that funny, like, because it is true, right? Like, you have these like huge weapons on these tanks and such, but they have this like blind spot. You know what I mean? Not this dude. Oh, so this separates. This becomes the robot's gun. That goes back in there. That's why we're kind of covering the alt mode. I mean, the accessories a bit separate. These fold out here. It also rotates around. I'm not sure if you saw that or if I mentioned that. These guns in here rotate out. Some red paint on there, which isn't hateful. Let's see if there's anything else. We'll flip these missiles back. Let's see if there's anything on this side. I think this opens up. You know? Nothing to scoff at. So yeah, I mean, that's basically this guy. There it is with Tiger Tracks. Somebody's at my door. I'll be right back. Let's get him transformed. So you need to unlock his knees, basically. And then the kind of trailer, for lack of a better term, will come off. We're just going to set that to the side for now while we work on this. So, let's see here. We have to move these toes up. And then these are on double hinges. They'll fold in and split apart. Not too bad so far. Then bend the waist to kind of reveal the chest. And right here is where the matrix is. It's done nicely. Silver paint, gold paint, nothing to scoff at, little kind of gem in there. When you close that, it'll bring out the abs. Take the pelvis, flip that up, and then take the sort of chest windows, bring them around to the front, and interlock them. Then take the cab, extend it, split it. I think you probably know what's behind door number 1 here. Voila. You were right. Flip that up, These, let's see, something happens with these. These rotate. There they are. All right, rotate them around. And those sit there, which is a weird look. I'll be honest with you. Untab them. Rotate them down. Close around. For that look, I guess that's accurate, I'm not sure. Pull the forearm away from the shoulder. The shoulder actually has a release as well for a double hinge, and then I think it's supposed to sit off like that or something. And then rotate the bicep in. Rotate this little piece out. And then rotate the hand out. Close this piece. And... oh, I'm aimed the wrong way. There we go. Much better. Same for this side. Pull down. Shoulder up. Rotate the wheel out this time. Panel up. Hand out. Panel down. Collapse shoulders. There he is. I'll clean him up. We'll take a look at him. And we'll get in tight on the head sculpt for Dennis. Head is on a hinged swivel, and it comes completely apart, so there's that part too. But you can get up to there, maybe up to there before it breaks, you know, suspension of disbelief. You can get maybe the slightest bit down in the swivel. We have, of course, these ears. I don't think you're supposed to have them in this mode, but gold, or yellow paint rather, silver paint, yellow paint on the eyes, could have used a second coat. Doesn't show up really well over the blue. All right, let's back out a taste. The torso. I don't know why, I thought there was a more significant, yeah, there it is. Waist swivel. Ooh, ratcheted, doesn't feel great. I'm not pushing it any further. We have the shoulders. If you get the shoulder pads up and out of the way, you have a universal joint that gets you out to 90 degrees. 360 around. You have an ab crunch. One ratchet, but it's something. You have a butterfly, technically. You know, if you extend that and then fold it back, it'll definitely pass, you know. You have a bicep. You have a double jointed elbow. You have a wrist hinge. Oddly, no swivel. And then you have the fingers on ball pegs that come out to a secondary and tertiary knuckle, as well as the thumb that is on a ball peg and comes out to a secondary knuckle. Bicep swivel, did I cover that? Nice sculpted detail, die-cast joints. No issues. Same for the other side. We'll look at the whole figure now, or do our best anyway. Talk about these hips. So we have the pelvis here, die-cast piece in the center, yellow paint on the chest. Once again, not done great. Skirts get up to show you universal joints, also die-cast. Ratcheted, weak ratchets, but ratcheted for the full Van Damme. Close enough anyway. Nice ratchets forward and back for the full Monty. A little shy of the full Monty, but pretty close. Ratcheted thigh swivel feels awful. Let's try this one. Better. Nice sculpted detail in the legs. Loving that. We got some die-cast here on the knees with some orange painted on there. We have some die-cast here in the lower legs. Fully painted. That paint looks good. And the silver paint on top of it looks good. Excuse me. We have a double jointed knee. Ratcheted and feels good. Ankles, we have a toe tilt down. And we have an ankle rocker. So, kind of like well designed, poorly built kind of a deal. Not to say it's awful. It's not. But it could have been significantly better. There he is from the back. There he is next to Magic Square Prime. So, big bot. And of course, you can use that gun that we showed earlier, peg it into the palm of his hand, wrap his fingers around it, and he'll hold it just fine. Now, his trailer supposedly has a base mode that's pretty simple. You just spread the wings pretty much. Then you can kind of angle these out however you want them, and, you know, take these out and do that. I think that's, honestly, I think that's really it. Which is fine. You know, doesn't hurt anything, does it? He has another robot mode that's kind of easy to get to. Just take the part that you folded up, and now we're just going to fold them around, tab them in underneath, tab the foot down, and I think that's it. I can't remember. I think, yeah, this wheel, if it's not slid up, slide it up. Same for the other side. Take this, bring this down, tab it in, and wheel up. To finish the look of the legs, pull these pieces out, remove this. These go on the back, so just spin them around to the side and fold the guns down, and then just put them on whatever side will have the gun sit out. And they tab in a series of tabs down the leg. And the cool thing about this is the heel rocks with the ankle. I was actually a bit taken back by that. Pretty smart stuff. Same thing on this side. There we go. Then we just have our octopus here, and we had to separate these two pieces. So untab them from this tab sitting down into that slot, and then rotate them around. Once again, untab, rotate it around, and then bring out your suspenders. And now this is ready. You can extend these a bit. All right, and then take this and get these shoulder pads out of your way. Make sure that your chest is sitting tight. These black bits here hug on to those squares, and then there's two pegs in the back that go into his back. And I'm not exactly, I'll be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure what's the best way, but that seems to have done it. And then just line these up the best you can. There's also a peg that goes into the shoulder. I might have to get all that off camera, but just make sure that these pieces here stay tabbed in. And then the head, you just want to flip the ears out and then reverse the face. You know what? That's probably the face that's supposed to be with the little guy. I don't like that face anyway, so let's just roll with this face. The good news is you can have whichever face you like, just like I did apparently. Subconsciously or accidentally. You decide. It was accidental. Alright, so let me get him cleaned up. We'll take a look at him. So articulation's pretty much the same. I just have a couple things to go over about this guy. We already showed the ankles, right? So that's pretty smart stuff that the ankles still stay the same. Head obviously is the same. Shoulders and arms haven't really changed, etc. The only thing that I really have to show here, and then we'll put them in some poses and stuff for some final thoughts, but is that you can have these guns kind of out like, you know, like an armory. You know, almost like that Ripley in Aliens or something. Or you can have this up, connected here, and then have the guns pointing straight down, which I think is probably the more classic look. But either option is open to you. And I don't have my Magic Square Prime right here anymore, but let me put them next to Trailbreaker, and we'll put them next to Cliff Jumper, and we'll put them next to Jazz to have, you know, a little bit of selection on idea of what to expect. I mean, I think it's pretty cool, and I love the ease to which it goes from one to the other. There's a lot of little nuances about this that I like a lot. It's far from perfect, but that doesn't make it bad. Lordy, lordy, look who's... Final thoughts-wise, let's start with the negatives. There's not a ton of paint on this for this to be considered a masterpiece or masterpiece scale, which I'm guessing that's the intention due to its size. But unfortunately, about half the paint that is applied here is not great. Mainly when it comes to the oranges and yellows, the lighter colors. But it has a really hard time covering the darker plastics, whatever paint they're using. So not the best choice there. He's a little bit back heavy. He's also carrying a fair amount of stuff on his back, I get that. But nonetheless, he's a little bit back heavy. The ratchets aren't great. Some, in fact, feel dangerous. hips. Specifically on the copy I'm looking at, the ratchets and the thighs, it feels like you're snapping the plastic every time that you manipulate them. And I did miss, there is a slight wrist swivel, but it does bump up against the forearm armor. I'm utilizing both of them now to try to get you to see their kind of range, but it is limited. It's a limited range. Also, the kind of flank kibble that I have sort of propped up right now with the wheels facing out does face an issue for a lot of articulation as well. It kind of finds itself in the way when utilizing the waist swivel or the hips. And that's all I got. Positives wise, there's a lot of sculpted detail and it looks great. Comes across nicely. Would have come across even nicer had it had more paint, but what are you gonna do? The general proportions are well done, both in robot and vehicle mode. The materials, some of it feels a little nylon-y, the plastic, but in the same breath, there's so much die cast and stuff in this figure that you forget about the other parts. You at least remain balanced. Little details like they painted the die cast to match the blue up there, like little stuff like that I appreciate. There are a ton of ratchets. They're not all done as elegantly as you would like. It comes with the appropriate accessories. The transformation is an absolute breeze, a welcomed breeze in 2023, and it's fun. It's a fun figure. There's a couple things that are frustrating about it. You know, the hip skirts and the balance sometimes. The balance isn't a huge issue, but it does play a fact. But it is a fun figure to mess with, and that goes a long way. So a recommend from me, but certainly not the strongest offering of the year. If you're looking for something fun, it's a good one. I think even display-wise, you can probably make something out of it due to the wingspan and sort of general size and proportions, but it is not the best built thing in the world. Hope that helps. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.